Yeah, I just don't think you got what it takes, bro.
See, making music ain't for everybody.
Stop trying to do everything, because then you're gonna get stuff that ends up sounding like
This
this.
is what it means to live in purpose. Yeah. If you ain't know, and all it ever took me was some focus. Yeah. If you ain't know, he told me spit the word without a pulpit. Yeah. If you ain't know, so I ain't letting go of my anointment. Yeah. If you ain't know, you already know what time it never is. Let go. I'm serving scriptures to the bodies that be lost in the street. Man, I ain't letting go of nothing. This the gospel to me. I'm never quitting, man. I'm right where I'm supposed to be. I'm focused on my mission like I'm Moses walking straight through the sea. I got a pocket full of pennies cause my soul changed. Even that my Lord's never joined the dope game. Now I'm getting real comfy, let the coat hang. You know I'm in the building, man. I'm about to blow like propane. If all this rapping's an issue, then you could grab a tissue. I'm saving lives with these verses, man. I won't even diss you. You got some hate on your spirit, man. It don't even fit you. You better step out my presence or else my God will fix you. Just know I'm living in purpose to every single daughter. I ain't gonna wait till you give it, man. I'ma take my flowers. Don't need no trophies or glory because he gave me power. I'll just keep repping the kingdom until the final hour. Purpose. Yeah. If you ain't know, and all it ever took me was some focus. Yeah. If you ain't know, he told me spit the word without a pulpit. Yeah. If you ain't know, so I ain't letting go of my anointment. Yeah. If you ain't know, never let go.
My purpose, man, it's locked down. Can't take it from me, no, not now. Ain't no way I'ma walk out. I'm fighting on for my God's crown.
What's going on, everybody? All right. Thank you all for joining in. It's good seeing you guys. Of course, it's your boy WesTheTech. Let me make sure I got everything set up here, everything ready to go. All right. Welcome to Tuesday Q&As, where I, WesTheTech / Connect, am going to help you guys with your music industry tips. I'm going to be answering whatever tips or questions that you guys may have in regards to the music industry. And yeah, we're going to go over some really great questions that I've actually collected as well. All right. So as people, of course, are joining in and everything like that, please just let me know if you're in the chat. If you're watching, just you give me a hey or a hi in the chat so that I know that you guys are here. RD Dictioner Junior 2, what up? What's going on? Thank you for joining in. All right. Feel free to start putting in your questions on whatever music industry questions you guys may have. I'm going to start answering those questions in a little bit here. Let me just make sure my camera's right. I need to adjust it just a little bit to give me a little bit more headroom. Sorry, guys. It's been a long morning, so it took me a little while to get ready this morning. But, yeah, that's perfect. I think that'll go. Yeah, that'll go. That's good. All right, cool. Okay, so let's get all the particulars out the way. Brian, what's going on? Mr. Wheatley, good seeing you. What's going on? Thank you for joining in as well. Good to see you, returning guests here. Again, guys, my name is WesTheTech. I'm a music business coach. I'm a recording artist myself. All right, I love making music, but I also love helping other independent artists figure out this whole music industry stuff. I know there's a lot to deal with. There's a lot to understand, from distribution to royalties to sync licensing and just all the different things that are involved with just being an independent artist. So I just decided one day that I just wanted to help people. I wanted to help people learn this stuff because there's so much to learn, and you could literally make simple mistakes. Not even simple mistakes. You can make mistakes because it's so complex. So I decided to start making videos. Most of you guys have found out about my channel for the first time probably through watching my videos, but outside of my videos, I also go on live every Tuesday from noon to 1 to answer your questions, and this is what I'm doing here right now. Also, of course, you know, I got to get the particulars out the way. I got to let you guys know about my membership club. With my membership club, of course, you got priority replies to comments, members only exclusive walkthrough videos, and free monthly music business coaching sessions on me. All right, all you got to do is hit that little join button there if you want to know more information on that, and sign up with the membership if you are interested. All right, but either way, I'm here to help you guys out. So like I tell everybody who joins in here, use this as your opportunity to get all your questions answered. All right. Now, the cool thing about these lives is every week I choose a winner of the best question that's asked. And whoever that winner is, that winner will actually get a free gift on me. Now, I have a lot of alternative gifts. I have a lot of different things to offer as a gift, basically resources and tools to help you guys out. But like I said, whoever asks the best question today will get that free gift on me. So feel free to just load up the chat room with as many questions as you guys have. And again, best question that's asked today will get a free gift on me. What's going on, Ali? My younger brother has actually just joined on the live. Everybody give him a big birthday shout out. His birthday was last week. All right, so big birthday, big celebrations for my little bro, Ali. Thank you for joining in as well. All right, now, of course, I got a lot of questions that I've collected. All right, and we're going to go through as well. But like I said, feel free. The chat room is completely open for you guys. Just put in your questions, and I'll get to them as we go along. 810 Studios, thank you for joining in. Hello from North Carolina. I love it. Good seeing you. RD Dictioner, where you from? Let us know where you guys are watching from. I always love to see where people are watching from, where people are experiencing this and everything like that. So feel free to let me know where you're watching from. Motive, I see you on IG. Thank you for joining in over here for sure. Again, any music industry questions you guys may have, just go ahead and drop them into the chat room, and we're going to get this. And Motive said he's from Fresno. That's what's up. Welcome. Thank you for joining in. LD40, I see you, brother. What's going on? What's good with you, bro? I sent you a message. I'm going to get at you after this live today. I know we've been trying to link up for the longest, so we're definitely going to do that for sure. But thank you all for joining in. Like I said, get your questions ready. All right, and we're just gonna jump right into this here. It's good to see that you guys are joining in, and I love seeing the community just grow. You get what I'm saying? So let me pull up the first couple of questions that I have here. All right, here we go. Here's the list. All right, so these are questions that I collect, amongst the comments that I get on the videos. Guys, I get a lot of comments on my videos. My first music industry tip is still up, right? So I have hundreds of videos at this point because I've been doing this for a few years now, and people comment on all of them. So it becomes very chaotic trying to respond to everybody. That was one of the reasons that I decided to do the lives, because I realized that a lot of people had a lot of questions that they needed, answered, and it's hard to just go through all of those comments all the time. So I decided to start doing this live, and I still collect a lot of those questions so we could go over, especially when I see some really, really great ones. All right, so that's what we're going to do here. The first question we're going to go over is this right here. Now, I didn't attach what video this was a part of, but the question was asked by Wife Wants a Wizard. All right, so Wife Wants a Wizard said, you're thinking about percentages in reverse. If you only have $1 and someone takes 15 cents, that's devastating. You can barely eat. If you have $1 billion and someone takes 150 million, you still have hundreds of millions of dollars. You're going to be just fine. Percentages are devastating to those who have nothing. That's why America runs a graduated tax system. All right. So as I was reading this, I remember what it was about. So essentially what Wife Wants a Wizard was commenting about, there was commenting about the differences between percentages and paying an annual fee, right? So let's say, in the topic of royalties, right? You have some music distribution companies that will let you keep 100% of your royalties, right? But you have to pay an annual fee. Like, let's say that DistroKid, for example. DistroKid, for example, is $34.99 for, I think, their basic or the mid-tier level package. But with that, you just pay the one annual fee to $34.99, and then you keep 100% of your royalties, right? There are other music distribution companies that you don't pay an annual fee at all, but you have to pay them a percentage of whatever you make, right? So I have never subscribed to the idea of percentage base. I think that it is subscription base is better when you're looking at it in the long run of having a long career. If you decide that, you know what, I'm going to be making music for a long time, the annual fees will end up costing you a lot less than the percentage, especially when you start making money. So what her response is I'm thinking of percentages, I guess, wrong. Essentially what she's saying from this, because what she's saying from this is if you only make $1 and they take 15 cents, that's devastating. But if you make $1 billion and they take $150 million, you still have hundreds of millions left over. So it doesn't hurt as much. I'm sorry, but I don't care how much I've made. If I lose $150 million versus $34 a year, there's no comparison to that. Even if we say, let's say I had a 20-year career, a 20-year music career, right? I'm actually going to pull up a calculator here and just do the math real quick, right? Let's say I had to, you know what? Let's even go higher, right? Let's look at DistroKid's, the most expensive music distribution plan out there, right? Is a DistroKid's label plan. That's $89.99, right? That's $89, so it's $90 a year, right? We times that by a 20-year career. For a 20-year career, at the most, I would be spending basically $1,800, right? So if I did blow and I did make millions off of my music, this is the total amount that my music distribution company would receive. Versus if I sold $1 billion, I would have to give $150 million. I believe everybody in their right mind would prefer to spend this than that. You get what I'm saying? So I don't really understand the concept of, oh, it's only devastating if you look at it that way. Because and it's interesting as well, because what she also mentioned is that's why Americans runs a graduated tax system. How many billionaires complain about how much they have to pay in taxes? I don't see much billionaires are happy to give millions of dollars to taxes. You get what I'm saying? Even though they have millions to spare. So I don't think that this is a realistic perspective. I respect it. I respect having a difference of opinion, but I just don't think that percentages is the way to go if you can avoid it. Now, there are certain percentages you can't avoid. For example, you can't avoid paying the percentage to your producer. You cannot avoid that because your producer made the beat. You can't avoid paying the percentage to the songwriters. There are things that you cannot avoid when it comes to sharing the percentage of the money that you make with your music. But your music distribution company is one of those things that doesn't have to share in that percentage unless you want them to, based off of the company you choose. All right. So that's my 2 cents on that. But guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Do you prefer the percentage base or do you prefer the subscription base? Now, there is a third option, which is you pay a certain amount and you never have to pay again, right? But even those, there always is some type of percentage in the end. Like, I know CD Baby, offers that. They're like, okay, if you just pay $20 per song, we're going to give you'll never have to pay for it again. You just paid a $20 one-time fee. But what they don't tell you is they do keep that 7% of anything that you make moving forward. So either way, you're going to have to pay a percentage base if you're not doing subscription. But again, guys, let me know in the chat. Let me know, on the comments here, which one you prefer. Do you prefer paying percentage base or do you prefer paying just a subscription annually. It to each his own. I just personally don't think that a percentage base is the best deal, especially when you really, really start making money as an independent artist. All right, guys. Now I do see some questions are building up here. All right, and the first question that I'll answer is actually from Motive because he's watching from IG. So I just want to make sure that I get that answered, all right, before I jump into this YouTube. All right, now, Motive, if you can join into YouTube, it would be better for you, especially if you have a question that you need to visually see something, because I know on IG you won't be able to see it. So this is why I always tell everybody to hop into the YouTube. But Motive's question is, how is it that some people never touch a record label but still do just fine without one? Well, to be quite honest with you, Motive, it's the entire independent music industry, really. You know, there are tons, you know, not even tons, there's millions of artists right now that have never seen a record deal, never needed a record label deal, and are doing just fine because of the fact that we can distribute our own music now. Because of the fact that we don't need a record label, so to speak, to be a recording artist or to be successful as a recording artist. There was a time that you had no choice but to be a part of a record label because you weren't getting on TV without a record label. You weren't getting on the radio without a record label. There's so many things that you wasn't able to do as a record label. But it's crazy, right? Because, you know, and I always notice stuff like this in history, right? When music first started, everything was independent. Nobody had record labels. Everybody was just putting out music, and everything was the Wild Wild West, so to speak, when it came to music. Everybody was entitled to do whatever they wanted to do. You could just go to a radio, and if they liked it, they played it, right? And then all of a sudden, these independent management companies started creating these record labels, and then they started signing artists, and then they started getting bigger and bigger, and then we get Motown and Atlantic Records and all of these big major and then record label companies, and then we got to a point that now you can't even be an artist without being signed, right? And then it was like that for years, but now we're kind of shifting back to that Wild Wild West in the sense that the record labels aren't needed anymore, because one of the biggest things that the record label was able to do was distribute your music, but we're able to do that ourselves now. We don't need a record label to get our music on Spotify. We don't need a record label to get our music on SiriusXM. We don't need a label to get our music on any radio station. We don't even need a record label to get our music on TV or on film and movies and everything like that. We absolutely don't need it. So right now we're at a point in time that the only thing a record label can offer you is high-speed success, right? They can put you in front of places and get your career to build faster or get you to a certain level much, much quicker, right? That's what a record label could offer you, but that's about the only thing they can offer you now as an independent artist, because, again, you could do it all yourself. What's going on, Key? What's going on? Good seeing you, brother. Low-key Keith in the building. My dog Keith is in the building. Good seeing you. Yeah, big shout out to Flex Speed. He does a lot of workout stuff, help people with agility, footwork, and all of that good stuff. Even though when I see those kids, I feel like they're running slow. But it's none of my business. It's none of my business. You know, I'm sure they're getting a lot faster. I'm sure they're getting a lot faster as time progresses. I'll just mess with you. But good seeing you, brother. Thank you for joining in. All right. But, yeah, that's the thing with record labels. As of right now, record labels, they're not needed, and it's gotten to a point that record labels now, not only are they not needed by a lot of independent artists, but record labels don't even build artists anymore. They don't even develop. They don't develop artists no more because of the independent music scene, right? And think about it, it's smart. As a record label, why should I spend so much money and so much effort into building up an artist when the artists pretty much build themselves up now, right? With social media, you know, they go viral on social media, they get tons of followers. All I got to do as a record label is find the artists that already have a major following. They already did all the hard work for me. Now I just got to get them assigned to me so that I could just reap the benefits of what they already built. And that's what record labels are doing now, which is why a lot of artists who are going viral and are getting big on their own aren't signing these deals, right? The only time they are signing the deals is if they just want the notoriety, or if they just want to say that, you know, I'm part of Atlantic Records and things like that. But I noticed that a lot of the artists that do that, they eventually regret it, because of course you got to share all of this stuff with the record label when you built it on your own back. So record labels I'm not against record labels. There are pros to being a part of a record label. You know, I've heard there are some very, very wise people that I have spoke to in the past who've told me point blank, like there's a certain level that if you want to get to as an independent artist, or as any artist, if there's a certain level that you want to get to, you would have to at some point be a part of a record label in order to reach there. And that I completely understand, and that is the reality. But to be successful, to be able to live off of your music, to live good, you know, financially, and be able to just do music full time, you absolutely don't need a record label for that. And I can guarantee you that, because that's what I do now. I do music full time. It's my only gig. It's the only thing I do outside of, you know, obviously helping you guys and being on live and everything like that, helping you guys with your music industry tip questions. I just do music. It's the only two things that I do. So it's definitely possible for you. You just got to know how to align yourself and set everything up the right way so that you're able to do music full time. But great question by Motive. All right, now we're going to jump to the chat here. And I see some questions, and some other people are joining in here. Please introduce yourself. Let me know where you're watching from and all of that good stuff. I'm glad to have you guys. All right, so Brian said, happy birthday, Ali. Ali, happy birthday. All right, so the first question is by 810 Studios. All right, and the question is, how beneficial are songwriter camps? And what are some of the must-bees? Ooh, what a great question. Okay, so this is a very, very great question, and I love this question, especially right now because, you know, I also run a recording studio as well. I'm actually in it right now. This is my recording studio, and I record a lot of other artists. Now, a lot of those artists that I know personally, they've been part of songwriting camps. Now, me personally, I've never been part of a songwriting camp, but I know a lot about them. You know, I've been invited to some before and things like that. So I do know about them. Now, what's interesting about songwriting camps is if you're a songwriter and you know that you particularly may not have the gift to actually perform a song, but you know that you can write a song, songwriting camps are the perfect opportunities for you. They're the perfect opportunities for you because you could essentially write a song, you know, and if they pick it up, they'll actually pay you and credit you for it, and you'll get a writing share percentage of the song, right? There are songwriters out there who are making a killing, a living off of just writing songs, right? But the things that you must know about, which is a follow-up to your question, is you also have to understand and be very versatile when it comes to just writing music. And what I mean is that, for example, one of my artists, they went to a Rihanna songwriting camp, right? If you're going to a Rihanna songwriting camp, you have to know how her music sounds. You have to know how she sounds. You have to know her style, right? Because you're essentially writing a song so that she can do, right? So you essentially have to become Rihanna in a sense in that moment and write as if you're her, or as if you have to write the song stylistically to fit her, right? And if her camp or her team likes it, they'll pick it up, right? This is how these song camps are. Now, if you've never heard of Rihanna before or never listened to her music, how can you honestly write a song that would fit her catalog? You get what I'm saying? So being a songwriter, you have to be very, very aware of other artists, how their styles are, how their music are, and all of those different things, right? You can't just go to any songwriting camp and expect to come out of there, you know, or successful or being picked. Now, it's not easy unless you know what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? I mean, there are certain songs that even now you look back in history, like, for example, Britney Spears, the Hit Me Baby One More Time, right? That song was originally written for TLC. If you listen to it, oh baby, baby, like you could almost hear TLC in that. That's who it was originally written for. TLC ended up turning it down, and then another company bought the rights to that particular song as from the songwriter, and it ended up in Britney Spears' camp. You get what I'm saying? So things like that happen as well, but you have to understand how to write for whoever you're writing for. Not only that, in those songwriting camps, there are tons of people there writing as well. So you got to understand how competitive that is. You're literally sitting in a room with a bunch of other people, and you all are just writing. You all are just writing. A beat is probably playing, and you guys are just writing to it. You guys are writing to it. So it's a very high intensity situation as well. And you got to write quick. So these are all of the things that you have to keep in mind being part of songwriting camps. It's part of the reason I've never gone to one, because it's a lot going on. You get what I'm saying? And it's too much pressure for me, to be honest, because I take a lot of time to write even my own stuff. I don't just pump out, lyrics like that, especially if I'm in front of a bunch of people. I'm still very Batman-esque when it comes to, creating. So I'm in my bat cave. I'm just creating by myself. You get what I'm saying? But these are things that A10 that you definitely want to think about. These are things that you want to consider and learn more about when it comes to songwriting camps. But I know people who have had success with songwriting camps, have gotten their songs picked up, but you gotta know music and you gotta know the industry and, artists. The Dream is one of Beyonce's biggest writers. For years, he's been writing music for her. And he's a guy, you get what I'm saying? But he understands her. He understands her sound. He understands R&B, pop music. He understands those things, so he's been able to have a career in that for the longest. You get what I'm saying? But great question, 810 here. All right, let's move on. LD40, I see you. All right, so Brian has a question here. Brian's question is, can you help me find out where to get ISWCs? Oh, that's easy. I got you. Some platforms seems to make them optional. I need to research to fill them in. Okay. Great question, Brian. I believe I have a video on that, right? So I'm going to share the link for that. But since you asked it, I'm also going to show you how you find it. So the ISWC, well, I put IW. Okay, the ISWC code, right? How to find your ISWC code with BMI, all right? I'm going to share this with you. Well, actually, I'll share this one with you, which will actually tell you the difference between ISRC code versus ISWC code. But this video kind of gives away where do you find it, right? So you find your ISWC code through your performing rights organization, all right? So, Brian, if you haven't signed up with the performing rights organization yet, then you do not have an ISWC code, right? They are the ones who actually issue out your ISWC code, and that's the code that they put for each one of your songs, right? It's the code that represents all the writers and composers, the authors of the music. You get that through it, right? So it depends on who your performing rights organization is, whether it's BMI, whether it's ASCAP, or CSAC. Now, those are the three performing rights organizations that's in the U.S., right? When you submit a song with them, it takes a while for it to upload. Okay, so I see Brian says, I watched it. I am with BMI. All right, so when you went to it, did they show you the ISWC code, or was it left blank? Because if it's still pending through the society, it won't show up yet until it is fully approved. All right, so you have to find out if it is pending or if it's approved. Now, if you don't know, then I could definitely show you exactly where to find that, Brian. I don't know if you want me to show you live on here, because obviously it's going to have your personal information and all of those things on there. So we're probably going to have to, do that one-on-one, all right, if you're still having trouble finding it. But it is available. Some of that information is available publicly, right? And this goes to any artist, right? Whoever's with BMI, whoever's with ASCAP, believe it or not, your the ISWC code is public information, right? How I know that is because you can literally search it, right? So I'm gonna see if we can find some songs right now. So we're gonna go to BMI Music, right? Or look up BMI Music. And when you're searching BMI, you always want to put BMI Music. If you just put BMI, you're going to get a bunch of stuff about body mass index, which is hilarious. But that also is an acronym for BMI. But there's a search, right? And it's right up here. You click on it, and it's search Song View. They have a whole little system that says Song View, right? You click on Song View, and you could literally search things up by title. You could search things up by performer, by writers, and by ISWC code. So let's say myself, right? Myself is Connect, right? That's my artist name. Performer. I could do now. SongView is going to search you throughout the entire database, not just BMI. Or you could just look it up just through BMI, right? But you hit search, right? You're going to get like this message right here that's going to let you know restricted regarding use of data platform, basically letting you know that it is public information, but it's be sure to like, it's kind of like against the law to use it the wrong way and stuff like that. Basically a disclaimer. And you just hit I accept, right? And then here it is, right? Here's my name as an artist, right? And here's all of my songs. Right, and some of these songs do have their ISWC, some don't, right? All On You, for example, does, right? The ISWC code is right here. It starts with a T, right? Now others don't, right? Maybe does Breadwinner have? Yeah, Breadwinner has. Some of them don't. I don't remember which ones don't. Some of them I'm still waiting to get approved because sometimes it takes a while for some of these songs to get approved. All right, here's one right here. My song Grow, right? Grow, it doesn't have it yet. See, ISWC code? It's still pending, right? Now, the reason this may happen sometimes is it may be whoever you made the song with. Maybe they haven't finally submitted yet, or maybe they're not in a database yet, so they can't complete it. You know, these are things that happen when it comes to that. But yeah, signing up for getting your ISWC code is very, very important. There are going to be websites that's going to ask you for that. You know, you have to submit that, as well as your ISRC code, which you get through your music distribution company. So it just really, really all depends on what you need. But if they haven't showed it to you yet, Brian, that means that it's probably pending through the society, and you got to give it some more time. Thank you all for those of you who are still joining in on IG here. For a better experience, definitely log in to my YouTube. The link is in the bio. That way, if I need to show you something on screen, I can show it to you on screen. But I thank you all for joining in. All right, so yeah, let me know, Brian, if that helped out at all, if you're able to find it. Also, 810 Studios, let me know if I help answer your question when it comes to the songwriting camps as well. All right, I also just want to make sure that you guys actually got the information that you guys needed, if I answered it, as far as if I answered the actual question for you guys. All right, but yeah, let me know in regards to that. All right, so the next question is from Cedric. All right, we're gonna keep rolling here, make sure I get through all of these. So Cedric said, how important is it to be copywritten? All right, so that's a question that I get a lot. All right, and for those of you who have watched this live a lot, we go over copywriting a lot. So copywriting is something that is necessary. All right, but at the same time, it isn't. It's a weird thing. Copywriting is the weirdest thing when it comes to music, right? Because there are certain things that can protect you or protect your music outside of your music actually being copywritten through the actual government. All right, now officially, right? Copywriting your music is a thing you can do. You go, in order to do that, you have to go to copyright.gov to copyright your music. All right, this is the official website for those of you who do not know, right, this is the official copyright website, copyright.gov for the US, by the way. All right. Obviously, if you're in another country, it would be a different website, but this is the copyright website. I'll leave the link in here for those of you who are watching and those you who may be watching the recap. So Cedric, this is the actual website if you didn't know. All right. When it comes to any government website, it has to be .gov. If it's not .gov, it's not the right website. Now, if you go to it, you're going to see register your works, right? Learn more, and they're going to tell you of all the different works that you could register, and you're going to see that performing arts, music is one of them. Lyrics is another thing you could copyright. Song recordings, scripts, all of these things are things that you could copyright. Now, the question is, do you absolutely have to copyright your music, right? The answer to that question for me is yes, but not right away. And the reason I say that is because by law and music, you know, this was a couple of years, not even a couple of years, so it's been a lot of years since they passed this, but essentially, the government made it so that you did not actually have to have an actual copyright in order to prove that a song was yours, or in order to prove ownership of a song that was yours, right? There was another method moving forward to prove that a song was yours. Now, what that method was, in fact, is by owning your masters, all right? Now, if you don't know what your masters is essentially the original recording of your music. Whatever, you know, DAW that you recorded a song on, whether Pro Tools, Logic, whatever you recorded the music on, the original recordings, that is your masters. Whoever has that owns the masters, and the masters is proof of ownership of the song, meaning that you don't actually have to go through the copyright.gov to copyright it to prove that you own your song, as long as you have the masters. So let's say someone tried to steal your music and use your music and claim that it was theirs and this. In court, your masters can hold just as strong as the actual copyright, the copyright, you know, paper that they give you to, you know, with the whole copyright stamp on it, right? So this is why I say it's like, yes, you can copyright your music, and yes, copywriting your music is important, but you can get away with having your masters in the beginning, right? Now, of course, eventually at some point, you're going to want to get them copyright in anyway, just for that extra layer of protection, really. But not having your music copyrighted doesn't mean that somebody can literally steal your music away from you. As long as you still have your masters, and you still have proof that you have your masters, because with your masters it's going to show what date it was recorded, what time it was recorded, all of those different things. That's proof enough. All right, this is a real law. I forgot when it was put into place and things like that. I could probably Google it, but to save on time, to make sure I get through everybody's questions, you don't absolutely need it. It's good to have, especially in the long run, but you don't absolutely need it, especially in the beginning. Why? Because you got to pay for it. To be quite honest with you guys, having your master, you don't have to pay for that. You recorded it at the studio. You have a hard drive or a flash drive and be like, hey, give me the entire session file. I need my masters, right? The engineer is going to give it to you. It's yours by right anyway. It's your vocals on there. They give it to you. Now you have your masters. Any issues you may have, you got that evidence right there. You have that flash drive. You have the file. Copywriting, you have to pay per song to copyright each song. And do you want to copyright the song? Do you want to copyright the lyrics? Do you want to copyright the music? Those are all different copyrights. It's not all the same thing, right? You got to pay for each one of those things. So it gets expensive really quickly, especially if you have a lot of music. So just deal with the masters for now in the beginning as an independent artist. And then once you get to a point that you're like super, super successful and you really started making money, then you could go through that process of really getting your music copyrighted in the other way. And I see your response. Thank you, big bro. No problem. I appreciate it. I appreciate the question. Definitely was a great question, Cedric. And, you know, I see some more questions here. I see DJ Killer joining in. Thank you for joining in. I think this is the first time seeing your name here. I see that. And I see a question by CHHJ. I'll actually ask the question. answer the question by CHHJ since he's on IG. All right. Now, of course, for a better experience, you want to head over to YouTube and watch this through YouTube, because on YouTube, if I have to show you something on screen, I can literally show it to you on screen through the YouTube. But for the sake of time, I will answer it here. All right. So a CHHJ question is, how much does an artist receive from a song they didn't write or produce? All right. So if the artist didn't write or to produce it, but they did perform it, they're still going to get the performing royalties. They're still going to get the streaming royalties. All right. So when it comes to every song, anytime a song is playing, right? Like my song that's playing in the background right now, Feeling Like David, that's playing in the back right now, right? There's so many different royalties that's attached to every song. You got your streaming royalties, you got your writing royalties, your composition royalties, right? You got the neighboring royalties, the sync license royalties. There's a bunch of them. The royalties are so complex. My next book that I'm actually coming out with, in fact, is going to be solely about royalties. All right. I've been working on it for a while. I've been working on this thing for weeks, but it's that complex, right? And royalties get paid out to so many different people. Your producer get royalties. The writers get royalties. You, as the artist performing the song, also get royalties, right? But those royalties are broken off in so many different places. So to answer the question, how much does the artist receive for a song? That's a difficult question, because what is the involvement of the artist? How much did the artist write, if any, right? If the artist just performed it, didn't write or produce it at all, then you're only getting performance, but you're also getting streaming, right? So it gets so complex. But like I said, I can't really answer it specifically how much, but I can tell you what an artist who just performs can receive. And when that book comes out, that book is going to break down everything for you, so you actually understand who gets what. Okay, does the producer get this? Does the the writer only gets the writing credit and doesn't get the streaming? All of those different things, right? So it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. All right, so CHHJ says, so the BMI, ASCAP, and DistroKid. Yes, that's what you get as the artist, but you get more. There are other things that you have to sign up for to get royalties as well. All right. And he says, I need that book, brother. No writing, only recording in the studio. Okay. So clearly, CHHJ, you're going to need that book. Definitely. It's, to be honest, because of the time that I have left, I want to make sure I get through everybody's question. So I'll make sure to share that link with you, and make sure you're following me. Make sure you got your notifications on to me, because when I release it, I'm gonna be obviously sharing and all of those different things as well. But just keep a lookout for that, because that is gonna be my next book. And for everybody else that's watching, I want you guys to know that as well. My next book that is coming out is it's basically a handbook specifically about royalties. Where do you have to sign up to make sure that you get all your royalties? It's not just your PRO and DistroKid or your music distributor. There's actually so many other places that you have to sign up for as well. There's, let's see, besides those two, there's 6 different places that you have to sign up for to make sure you get all your royalties. 6 different places. So if you're only doing your performing rights organization and your music distribution company, you're leaving money out on the table. There's more places than that, and that book is going to highlight all of those different things. It's just super complex to go over it in this video. All right, but yeah, and the last thing CHHJ said, I wrote a song and produced for someone. I want to make sure they get paid and I get paid too. Yeah, so you're definitely going to need that book, because you want to first make sure that you sign up for everything that you need to sign up for, and then you want to make sure that everybody else signs up for whatever they need to sign up for, so that everybody can get paid, because whatever you don't sign up for, they won't pay out, and they will pocket that money until you sign up for it, or until you get that situated. When now Des the Nomad said on IG here, when does the book come out? I'm hoping that it comes out next month. In the month of August. It should have been out this month, but there was a lot of hiccups and a lot of things that happened this month that kind of set me back a little bit. But it will be out in August. Please be a part of my email listing. I don't know if you guys have been to my website and joined my email listing yet. join my email listing because I will be letting you guys know when it's going to be on there. But just make sure that you're following me in, whatever platforms, because I will be, presenting it and showing it and everything like that as well. It's a very, very complex book, but I made it super, super simple for everybody to watch. So just be on the lookout for it for sure. But I appreciate the question on that. All right, so let's go over to DJ Killer's question here. So DJ Killer's question is, what's the difference between go with a company and distribute your music with them, or with a platform that does it for you? Okay, so every music distribution company distributes your music for you. So I'm not sure what's the difference to go with a company and distribute your music with them. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. Okay, so I think he's saying, do you go with a music distribution company, or do you try to just get your music on Spotify? If you're still watching DJ Killer, let me know if that's what you mean. Like, do you need a music distribution company? If that's what you're getting at. If that is what you're getting at, the answer to that question is yes, you absolutely need a music distribution company. As an independent artist, we are not in a position to be able to submit our music to Spotify directly as currently constructed. The way the music industry is currently constructed, we cannot do that. We cannot get our music on Spotify or on Apple Music just by reaching out to them and say, hey, put my music on your platform. We cannot do that. We cannot do that for Tidal. We cannot do that for any of the major music streaming services. We have to do it through a music distribution company, right? Will it be like that forever? I don't think so, right? I think at some point in time, it will change, but as of right now, we do. All right, now DJ Killer just wrote back for clarification. DistroKid is better than CD Baby, TuneCore, and Landard. Okay, so TuneCore is a music distribution company. DistroKid is, CD Baby is, and Landard just became one really recently. But as far as which ones are better, they all have pros and cons. I have a video on that. Matter of fact, I will share that video right now. As far as the best distribution companies for this year, every year it changes because these distribution companies like to change things from year to year. They don't always do, but when they do, things have to be updated, right? CD Baby is one of them. They change their stuff all the time. So sometimes CD Baby is the best, sometimes it isn't. You get what I'm saying? But definitely check out that link there, DJ Killers, to see what my top recommendations are, right? But in general, you cannot submit to a music streaming services by yourself. You have to go through a distribution company. But at the end of the day, they distribute to all of the different places. They make it easy for us anyway, and it's not expensive to do so unless you're doing the percentage base that we talked about earlier, right? But yes, you will need a music distribution company. There's no way around that if you're trying to get your music on streaming platforms. All right, but good question as well. Definitely a good question. Brian Wheatley said, how about Song Trust? Yes, you absolutely need Song Trust. And Song Trust is going to ask for the ISWC code, which means, Brian, that you have to have it with you have to sign up with your performing rights organization first, and then you put the ISWC code for Song Trust. But you don't need the ISWC code to register your song with Song Trust. It is optional. It absolutely is optional. If you have it, you have it. But if you don't have it, it's optional because Song Trust understands that sometimes you don't get it yet because it's pending, right? So you can still get your song approved on Song Trust without that code, right? And that's probably why you were asking me why you need it. Maybe you're trying to register through Song Trust. But yeah, you don't need it. Just fill out everything else. Whatever you have, fill it out. The mandatory stuff you have to fill out. The optional stuff you don't. But if you can, go ahead and fill it out. All right. Now, A10 said, yes, you did. We appreciate it for sure. Brian said, yes, your video made me aware of trying to follow up on that. I see you. All right. Cedric said, thank you, big bro. Yeah, for sure. Starman, what's going on? Thank you for joining in again. Good seeing you, brother. Yo, I never received my free. What? Okay. Did you follow me on IG? Send me a message right now on IG so I can see it right now. I don't know what your name is on IG. Matter of fact, even better, Starman, can you put your @ on the chat on YouTube to make sure that we are following each other, so I can make sure that I get that sent out to you, because that should have already been sent out to you. But I don't know if your name is still Starman on. I don't remember seeing your name Starman on IG, but put your @ on here to make sure, or send me a message right now so I make sure that it does pop up so that I can see that for sure. All right, Post 22 unboxing. Tell me more about Two Lost. Ooh, okay, guys. Okay. Well, first, let me show you guys this. Because this is important. This is important, right? Two Lost. Now, I'm gonna keep it 1,000 with you guys, right? Two Lost. I did a video on Two Lost. All right. So for the sake of time, I'm not gonna say everything I know about Two Lost on here, because it's in this video. So I'm gonna share this link with you guys if you want to know specifically more about Two Lost. But I will tell you this: Two Lost on paper is one of the best music distribution companies out there on paper. Now, I always like to preface my comments by saying on paper, because I truly feel, as an independent artist, if I personally haven't used it, or if I personally don't know someone that I trust, who has personally used it for long enough to tell me that it's good, that it is everything they say it is, I'm never going to be like, boom, use this. You get what I'm saying? When you watch that video, all I tell you about is what it looks like on paper. Do I believe that you should sign up for it? That's up to you. I've never used it, and I said that in that video. So it says that one of Two Lost's biggest things is that you keep 100% of your YouTube content ID. When I first saw that, I thought that was absolutely crazy, because you never see that with any music distribution company. You never keep 100% of the YouTube content ID. It's always split 80-20 with, that's like across the board. But they're offering 100% of YouTube content ID. Is it true that they do that? I don't know, because again, I never signed up with Two Lost, but that is one thing on paper that would set it apart from literally every other music distribution company out there. And it's not as expensive as some of the other ones and things like that. So Two Lost on paper sounds really, really great. Now, what I would advise you to do is post, if you want to know more about Two Lost, you definitely want to check out the comments section. Why I say that is because, look, there is 5,000 people who watch this video. People are still commenting on this video, and these are people who have used Two Lost. I've seen people talk about Two Lost in the comment section, letting you know their experiences with it. This is important for you to know. This is important information for you to have, because they have information that I cannot give you because I haven't used it, right? So check out what others who have used it have to say in there. I have personally had the conversation with one of the representatives over there, right? Just to be completely frank with you guys, he asked me to do a video, on it, and so he allowed me to have access to it and check it out and everything like that. And everything I saw looked dope. I mean, it looked on the up and up. But again, because I personally haven't used it myself, I cannot in good faith and confidence be like, this is the greatest ever. You get what I'm saying? All I could do is be like, on paper, it looks great. But until I personally upload one of my songs on there, see how the royalty payout comes in, see that I do get the percentage that I'm supposed to get, see that I don't have any hiccups or issues after it's distributed, that's the closest I could get to it. So I hope that the video helps. All right, but definitely, and I see you say thank you, appreciate it. I have everybody using it. I hear a lot of people are using it too. I do. But again, check out those comments, because I've seen a lot of things in that comments as well that you might need to be aware of. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of comments on there, but definitely check out the comments section of that video if you want a better understanding of, is it really worth it or not? All right. But on paper, it definitely is. Great question, by the way. Jay, I see you joining in. New company is Two Lost, I think. Yeah. I see you joining in. Thank you for joining in. That's dope. Okay. Let me see where I left off. Where did I leave off? Okay, tell me more about Two Lost. All right, so DJ Killer, we said that already. I am thinking of using Two Loss, but I guess want to know more. I hear you post. And, you know, this is something I also tell everybody as well when it comes to distribution companies, right? You always have a choice that even after you sign up with them, if it doesn't pan out the way you want it to pan out, you could always leave and go to another music distribution company. Now, there is a way that you want to do it properly so that you don't lose your streams and everything like that. But there's always a way to switch, and never be afraid to switch. All right. Now, I wouldn't advise you switching distribution companies like every month and stuff like that. But you definitely, if you make a mistake, it's okay. It's essentially what I'm saying. You're not locked into any contracts with these music distribution companies. They're literally services that are providing you the service of getting your music on streaming platforms. If you don't want to do business with them anymore, you don't have to. You could literally go to somewhere else. Just like, where you do your car washes at. If you don't like their service, you could literally go to another one right down the street. It's literally like that, right? But I'm going to make sure I share this link with you guys here, all right, because with this link is how to switch from one distributor to another in the event that you do run into that issue and you want to switch and you're not liking where you are. There's a method to switching so that you don't lose your play counts. That's very, very important to have. So make sure you save that video for any future references of switching, all right? But yeah, that's with that. Let's see what else we got here. Brian said, okay, thanks. Starman said he's on Instagram. Okay, see, that's probably why I didn't know that was you. I got you. All right, so let me make a note of this here to make sure that I don't know. I don't even know if I followed you back or anything like that. See, I didn't know it was you, but I got you now. I'm going to make sure I get that sent out to you after this live. Let me just make a note of your actual IG handle to make sure. I appreciate that. You might have sent me a message and I'm like, man, where's Starman? He been the real. Yeah, I got you. All right, perfect. Got it. All right, so I'll be reaching you out soon in regards to that, Starman. If you're not happy with what you received on DistroKid, DistroKid, they don't, they're giving you what you made, so just promote more. Honestly, DJ, just promote more. The biggest thing about music and the biggest thing about really being successful as an independent artist is promoting, man. If you're not getting, the income that you was expecting to get, you just got to promote more, because you got to think, Apple Music, Spotify, you gotta stream about 400 songs to make $1. You get what I'm saying? You gotta do a lot of streams. You gotta get a lot of streams to make some money. But the great thing about being an independent artist is there's other ways to make money, like live shows, right? They pay really well. Merchandise pays really well. All of those different things, you got to kind of incorporate them all together. But you can make a lot with the streaming as well. It's just, you're not just going to get it from DistroKid. And this is something I was mentioning earlier with the royalties, right? The most I get in royalties isn't from the streaming service. Isn't from, the music distribution. That's just streaming royalties. Remember, guys, there's 5 other royalties that you collect outside of streaming royalties. There's mechanical royalties. There's I'm forgetting them right now. There's a bunch of other royalties that you collect outside of just the streaming royalties that you get through your music distribution company. When you add it all up, it's way more than you think it is, right? But if you're just looking at your streaming, like DistroKid, TuneCore, stuff like that, it's not going to be much. I mean, you could make a couple of hundred. You could actually make a couple of thousand, depending, especially in the beginning, if you're promoting and if you're getting a lot of people listening to your music. But that has to be mixed with all the other stuff you get your royalties in to really start putting yourself in that position to be like, oh man, I can leave my 9-to-5 job now and actually do music full time, right? But you gotta find all of those different ways to actually get paid, including YouTube. YouTube pays as well. You know what I'm saying? Get your music videos on there. Get people subscribing to your channel. Get monetized on YouTube. That's another form of income that you could add to the pot with everything else. These are things that you guys keep in mind, but don't just rely on streaming by itself, because like I said, it's 300 to 400 streams to get $1. That's a lot of streams to really make some money. You get what I mean? But I feel you on that, brother. I feel you. But yeah, switching distribution companies isn't gonna change the amount. Getting more streams is what's gonna change the amount. LD40 says, speaking of music exposure, what's your thoughts on live streaming your music on YouTube and also doing live performances? I think that's great. I think that's great. I think a lot of artists are doing very, very well on live streaming, doing live performances, and live streaming their music. You know, I think any way to go live is great. Whether you're doing, I mean, I see artists that do it on YouTube. Guys, I see artists that do it on Twitch. Man, I see artists that they're musicians on Twitch that are just like, it's crazy because they're literally doing live performances. They got their guitars in their hands. They're just going off. They're taking song requests right on the live. Be like, who wants me to sing the song? Boom. And then they start playing it and singing it and all of this stuff. So live streams is absolutely a great, great avenue that you could use as an artist, right? If you just want to play your music. I've seen artists go on live and they're actually writing their music. They're actually letting people into their writing sessions. I've watched a couple of those before, and I thought it was the dopest thing in the world. Especially if you're already a fan of the artist, you get to see behind the scenes of their writing process and see how they write. And it's so dope because it's like, man, I just watched him write this song, and then once the song comes out, you're like, yo, I was there when he was writing it. I was watching when he was writing this very song. Now they listen to the song forever because they feel like they are a part of the process. So anytime you're able to actually allow your fans to be part of your process as an artist, it's so great. And that's the best way to market yourself, right? Music videos are great, right? Things like that are great, but behind the scenes of the music video is even better. You get what I'm saying? Maybe you record or your recording session. Go live and show people. Just have a camera sitting there as you're actually doing your recording session of your song and let people into that world, right? Believe it or not, guys, these are great ways of growing your channel. You know, one of the things that was really, really helpful to me growing my channel as an artist is the last album that I released. I did a mini series, right? It was 13 songs, and I did a episode just going through the making of each song, you know, and I told you stories about how the song came together, who was featured on it, and I even showed you how I created the beats, because a lot of those beats I created myself, and you can see all of it in the video. People are still watching that. You get what I'm saying? So those things are absolutely great. Any way that you could expose people to your process, people start to appreciate you more as an artist, and they can see how seriously you take your craft, and they'll want to support you. Those will be the same people who will buy your t-shirts. Those will be the same people who will pay for certain, you know, promotional items and things like that. Those are the people who become your core fans, right? So great idea, LD40. Definitely invest in that. Definitely get a camera. Do it, brother, because trust me, I have seen it pay out dividends in a lot of different ways, for sure. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so we're about to come to a close here, but I just want to make sure. Let me make sure there's no other questions here. Yeah, but I don't want to lose my music. Okay. If you're referring to switching distributors, DJ Killer, look at the video the link of the video that I just sent. You won't lose your music. You won't lose your stream count by switching distribution companies, but you have to do it the right way, right? There is a method to do it. Make sure you watch that video so you don't lose that. All right. 810 said you can stream a live performance and use that as a use that for performance royalties. Yes, you can. You absolutely can. You could actually use that as performance royalties, and actually your performing rights organization will actually collect royalties on the behalf of that. They already do it for music videos. If you have a music video right now on YouTube, right? A music video, BMI and ASCAP is going to collect performance royalties for that. And it's going to show up as YouTube. They're going to collect for that anyway, regardless. So they're going to do that for live performances as well. Yes, that is. And again, this is one of the tricky things about royalties, right? What counts as performance royalties? Like a bunch of stuff. Pretty much every single time you perform the song or the song is being performed with your voice, you're collecting performance royalties, which means Spotify, you're collecting performance royalties on Spotify. BMI is collecting royalties on Spotify as well, outside of the streaming that you're getting on Spotify. It gets crazy, guys. Really crazy. But yeah, you definitely do. I was going to ask the same question, 810. Yeah, you absolutely do. You get performance royalties on that. Like if you ever see like right, we're about to close, so if I could, I would have showed you guys the statement. Maybe I'll do it next week, but my BMI statement, right? You know, my last BMI statement, I had stuff from Apple Music, stuff from Spotify, stuff from Tidal, stuff from YouTube, right? Stuff from Pandora, like just all of the different places, because remember what they collect your performance royalties as a songwriter or as a composer, right? I wrote all of my music, so I'm going to get those royalties, all of those writing royalties every time the song is being performed, right? I also perform I rap my own rhymes, right? So I get all of the performance royalties as well. You get what I'm saying? And in those instances that I make my own beats, I literally get all of it, right? The song that's playing right now, Feeling Like David, is one of my biggest records. I did all of it. I did the beat, I wrote it, I performed it, all of it. I don't have to share that with anyone. So it's not only is it my biggest record, but it's been my most profitable record because I haven't had to split it with anybody. You get what I'm saying? But I get royalties from everywhere with that one record, right? Now, of course, I'm not telling everybody to make your own beats and stuff like that because I've been a producer way longer than I've been an artist, right? So so I know how to make beats, but at the end of the day, the more you can do yourself, the more you can make, right? Now, as an some artists, I advise them, you have such a talent as an artist, just focus on the art. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just having to split it with a producer, that's not bad because you could do all, and you're performing. Only thing you're splitting is a producer. Like, I think it's okay to split things with a producer, but when you have a songwriter and you have this and this, it gets split way too many times, right? But again, to each his own. Everybody's different, right? Some people, they could write a song. I'll give you an example. One of my songs, I had somebody else sing the song for the hook. I wrote the hook. So I got the writing credit for it, but they get the performance credit for it because they actually sung it. You get what I'm saying? There's all of these different ways that this stuff works, but it gets tricky when it comes to royalties, as I've been saying. That is like the biggest statement of this live today, all right? So let me just check out these last comments here, and then we're going to pick our winner. We're going to pick our winner for today, the winner of the best question that was asked. So let me see these last things here. Jay, good seeing you on here, for real. I was going to ask the same thing. Okay, cool. That's so amazing. This was the best use of my time today. Thank you. Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you for joining here in 810. I'm here every Tuesday from noon to 1 p.m. Just make sure you subscribe, get the notifications, and email. If you sign up to my email listing, I send you an email reminder for it as well with the link and everything. You just got to click on it and it'll come right up. But thank you. Thanks for having you, and very, very great questions. I'm going to be picking a winner. After this, I received some royalties from Sound Exchange from XM Radio, and it is the biggest royalty for a play. Yes, it is. It is. Sound Exchange pays the most out of all of them, 1,000%. So if you wanted to focus primarily on getting your music on Sirius XM and iHeartRadio, you could do that because they alone will cover everything. You get what I'm saying? Those will be literally the biggest checks that you'll get. But again, imagine all of it combined. You get what I'm saying? But also imagine making sure you got to make sure you sign up for Sound Exchange, right? Sound Exchange is one of the other places you collect royalties. Brian mentioned Song Trust earlier. That's another place that you have to submit for your royalties. There's a lot of different places, so just make sure you sign up for it. What I will send you guys, or share with, the last thing that I will share with you guys before picking a winner is this a video I did on royalties. All right, for the time being, as I'm still putting that book together. All right, this is the 4 main the four main places to get your royalties, but there are some more places that I have that even me myself I had to learn about. All right, but these are the four biggest ones and the four main ones. We mentioned Song Trust, we mentioned Sound Exchange. That's two of them. Your music distribution company is the other one, and the fourth one is the Performing Rights Organization. We talked about all four of them that's in this particular video. If you want to know more about each one of those four things, watch that video. But there are more. There are more, and that's why I decided to make the book. All right, but it'll be on its way soon. Which distributor pays more? DJ Killer, which distributor pays more? Whichever one pays you 100% pays, like, that's the max. You know, someone can't pay you 105%, right? So if this distribution company pays you 100% of your royalties and another one pays you 93, right? Yeah, DistroKid pays 100, Song Trust pays 93, TuneCore pays 100, right? Two Lost pays 100, Symphonic pays 100. So they're all equal. They're gonna pay you the same amount, right? But there are some they're gonna take from the royalties, so it'll be a lesser amount. So 100% of your royalties is the most that you could get. So those would be the ones that would pay the most. All right. I'm about to watch all your videos. You got all the info. It's been years. It's been years. I've been collecting information. It's the only reason I'm able to live off of my music now, guys. It's literally the only reason I'm able to do that now is because I had to go through the force and figure all of this stuff out myself. And a lot of this stuff, the record label, this is what the record label does, and this is what the record label knows. But if they give you this information, then you don't need them anymore, essentially, right? So this once, you know, years of collecting this information, I was just like, you know, I need to help people understand this stuff. I need to help people. I need to share this information, you know, and hopefully people could get to my position as well. And that was the whole purpose of making this whole channel and everything. Like, I'm a firm believer in God, you know, and this was the mission that he gave me. So I'm just being obedient, and I hope that I've been able to help you guys. All right. But let me go through these questions here and get the get the winner of the day. The winner of the day is, I already know what question it was. I just forgot who asked it. Okay, it is in here somewhere. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It was a great question. Where is it? B Fushizi, thank you for joining in. I think first time here. Thank you for joining in. DJ Kill, I believe it's your first time here as well. I appreciate you guys for joining in for the first time. I'll answer this question really quick. How long did it take you to start living off of your music? It took me 5 years. It took me 5 years of learning all of this stuff and signing up for the right things and understanding where I needed to go to, where I needed to send my music to, what's more important, right? A lot of people, they look at social media and they're like, social media is the most important thing. Not in the very, very beginning, because think about it. You could have 3,000 followers on Instagram and not get a single dollar. If you get 1,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, you could get monetized. So what's more important, YouTube or IG? You get what I'm saying? It's things like that, but you got to understand the math, right? You got to understand the math. You got to understand the game. Social media is great for exposure, but it's not great to get paid versus YouTube. YouTube will pay you for ads once you're monetized. So YouTube needs to be more of a focus. That's the first thing I focused on. I focused on YouTube before everything else. I have 8,000 subscribers on YouTube. I only have 3,000 followers on IG. I don't care. I live off of my music. You get what I'm saying? There are people with 100,000 followers on IG that still can't live off of their music because IG is not going to pay you for all of those followers. It's just the reality, right? Understanding what's more important and where to actually invest your time is the biggest key to living off of your music. And hopefully through my videos and stuff, you guys will be able to learn that. Let me see. The question of the best question that I felt like was asked today. Oh man, that was a great question. Okay, guys. So just as a disclaimer, the way I pick my winner, I typically pick my winner based off of who can provide a question that will allow me to make a new video on, right? And out of all the questions I was asked, some of them I've already made videos on and we've already discussed before. But the best question that I feel like that was really asked today that I've never gotten before was by 810 Studios. And the question was, how beneficial are songwriter camps and what are some of the must-be's? I think that was a great question. And, you know, that is a whole world that people don't talk about much. So 810, if you're still here, brother, you are in fact the winner of today. All right. I know this is your first time winning, so you will actually be able to get my book here, the 13 Steps to Jumpstart Your Music Business. All right. Now, you'll be getting the ebook version of this. I do have physical copies of it as well. But in this book, I actually lay out the 13 steps that I took to put myself in a position to leave my 9-to-5 job and do music full time. Now, of course, it doesn't have all the answers, but it's going to lead you in the right direction and tell you the first 13 things that you need to do, right? To go from not doing music at all to, okay, by the end of this, I can actually start focusing on these things right here and now start really making money as an artist. It's going to tell you what things to focus on. It's one of the things I just mentioned earlier about social media, right? It explains how YouTube should be your primary focus. IG and those things are great as well, but YouTube needs to be your primary focus because they will pay you out the first before any other social media places, and they pay out more, right? It tells you what social media is what others that you should look at and which ones you shouldn't, right? Is Facebook important for an artist? Is X important for an artist? What about TikTok? What about Instagram? Which ones do we even focus on outside of YouTube? That's all in here. All in here. LLCs in here, right? Picking the right engineer. It's all in here. So that is what you have won. 810, and I see that you're still on here. So what I need you to do, 810 Studios, is to make sure that you follow me on IG and send me a message, all right? But make sure you introduce yourself as 810 Studios in the message, and I need to make sure that it is you, all right? So you don't run into the issue that Starman ran into, because his tag is completely different from what is on YouTube, and I had no idea that he was the same person. So just make sure that you follow me. Big congrats to you, everyone. Congratulate 810 for that question because it was a great question. LD40, I appreciate the love, brother. I appreciate the love. Thank you so much for donating to the cause. All right, there's a lot that goes into this, but I appreciate that so much, guys. It's crazy because I actually was very nervous today about even having this because I lost complete power in the studio. It's been off since last night. It finally came back on this morning, and I'm so thankful that I was even able to do this live today because we almost didn't have one, to be honest. But I appreciate that so much, LD40. Appreciate that a lot. B for Sheezy says, Shees, you are a real inspiration. Connect. Appreciate it. Gonna be setting an alarm for every Tuesday now. I appreciate that. I'm on the West Coast. What's up? We got West Coast, and I know you guys are all united right now with that catcher. But I appreciate that. So I'll be having to wake up early. Thanks for responding, though, man. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for joining in. Good seeing you, and I'm glad I was able to help you for sure. What distributor are you currently using? DJ Killer said, I'm currently using DistroKid. All right, but I'm making a transition to Symphonic. All right, I'm still in that transition process, and I'm actually documenting it and doing research as I'm doing it. So be on the lookout for information on that. There is a reason why I'm making the switch. I won't explain it all in this video, but if you go back to go watch my Symphonic video, and you'll know why I like Symphonic now over DistroKid. There are some reasons. All right. And thank you. We are excited. Appreciate it for sure. Congrats. I love it, guys. So yeah, thank you all, everybody, for joining in. We ran a little bit later than usual, but I appreciate you all for joining in. I hope I was really able to help you guys out with some great questions today. But I'm here every Tuesday from noon to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you guys got your notifications on, that you're subscribed and everything like that. And remember, every Thursday I have a new tech tip that I release, and it's a new info I always have a new one, all right, that I'm just dropping on you guys to make sure that you guys are up to speed on anything. And last thing, I always tell people, if there's something that you may have a question on that you may not know if I made a video on yet, guys, I have over 500 videos, right? Sometimes it's difficult to get through it. You just type it in, right? If you're like, does he have a video on Song Trust? Just go to this little icon here and just type in what you're looking for, Song Trust, right? And then once all of the videos on Song Trust is going to come up. Look, do I need Song Trust, right? Or 5 things you should know before signing up with Song Trust. Like look, how to get all of your music royalties. That came up because Song Trust is one of the places, right? So definitely start familiarizing yourself with this little search engine here, because it'll save you a lot of time trying to get through 500 videos, right? Some of the questions that were asked here, I've already made videos for, and you'll be able to know that by just accessing this little search thing right here, guys. All right, but that's pretty much it, guys. I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you all for the love. I appreciate you guys. I'm glad I was able to answer the questions. LD40, again, appreciate the love, and I'll see you guys next week. Y'all take it easy, everybody. Peace.
Cause he a breadwinner.